Good morning and welcome to your sky for Wednesday, July 29th. Today's readings are set by your Western sun sign, the tropical zodiac, with the houses drawn from that sun sign. So listen for the sign the sun was in on your birthday. Readings today are from your sun sign. The link below finds yours in 10 seconds. All times you hear are local New York time. The sky today carries a full moon and the moon spends the day in Aquarius. That gives the whole day an airy, wide angle quality. Things that have been quietly ripening tend to become visible, and you see the shape of them rather than only the effort. The sun is in Leo now, and it enters Virgo in 24 days, so this remains a season for warmth, presence, and being seen, with a more careful sorting still ahead of you. The morning is unusually busy. 5 exact aspects land today. The moon meets Pluto at 6:08, sextiles Neptune at 6:14, and trines Uranus at 7:29. So the early hours favor honest reflection and unexpected clarity. Then the moon opposes Jupiter at 10:27 and opposes the sun at 10:35, which is the full moon exactly. Around that late morning window, keep expectations generous but realistic. If something feels bigger than it is, give it an hour before you respond to it. 3 planets are retrograde now: Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. That is a steady inward tone underneath the day, a good time to revise, review, and finish rather than to force something brand new into shape. As you move through today, let one act of care travel with you. Share food with someone who needs it, or give quiet help to a person who did not ask twice. Offer it simply and let it be complete in itself. Aries, today favors the people around you more than the spotlight, and that shift is a gift. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 10, so public presence and creative power were likely doing the talking for you. Now the moon moves through Aquarius in your house 11, the house of friendships and community, and your work and money conversations open best through networks rather than solo pushes. Mercury, your period lord, sits in Cancer in your house 4, so a quiet morning check of your foundations, home, family, base course sets the day up well. Ruled by Mars, courage and quick, decisive starts are your native language, Aries, and here that speed is best spent making the introduction rather than winning the argument. In relationships, the moon sextile Neptune, exact at 6:14, softens your listening, so an early conversation carries more tenderness than usual. For energy, keep the pace steady rather than sprinting. Saturn retrograde in your own first house asks for rest that is chosen, not forced. So the arc lands where it began, with your influence moving from stage to circle. Somewhere today, feed someone who is hungry, quietly, expecting nothing at all. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Taurus, today favors your public standing. The steady work you have quietly done is what other people finally get to see. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 9, so the past day likely pulled your attention toward home, family, and your inner foundation, a warm and slightly inward mood. Now the moon has moved into your house 10 at 1:45 UTC, the house of career and reputation, and that supports being visible about what you are building. Mercury, your period lord, sits in Cancer in your third house, which favors clear conversations and careful messages. Write the note you have been drafting rather than rehearsing it. Taurus, ruled by Venus, patience and steady building are your native language. And that patience is exactly what shows well today. With Venus in Virgo, in your fifth house of creativity, this is a good window for refining something rather than launching it. So treat rough edges kindly, including your own. Jupiter and the Sun in Leo in your fourth house support resting where you feel rooted. So keep the evening simple and unhurried. The day's arc moves from inner ground to outer visibility. Somewhere in that, feed someone who is hungry, quietly, asking nothing back. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Gemini, today opens a wider window in your thinking, and the view is worth stepping toward. Yesterday, the moon moved through your house 8, so a restless, break free undercurrent likely followed you around, and you felt it in your body more than your calendar. Now, the moon sits in Aquarius in your house 9, the house of philosophy and distant horizons, which favors work that stretches beyond the familiar desk. Mercury, your ruling planet, sits in Cancer in your house 2 of earnings. So let your quick mind study one money question calmly today rather than 5 at once. Curiosity and quick connection really are your native language, Gemini, and that shows in conversation now. The moon trine Uranus, exact at 7:29, supports honest, surprising exchanges. So say the thing you have been circling with someone close. For energy, the ninth house mood invites motion, a longer walk, a change of route, some air. That break free feeling from yesterday finds its outlet today in perspective rather than rupture. If you can, offer a warm meal or a quiet hour of help to someone who needs it. Ask for nothing in return. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Cancer, today favors thinking out loud with people you trust and letting your own clear voice do the work. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house of partnership, so you likely felt tuned to someone else's rhythm more than your own. Mercury, your period lord, now moves through Cancer in your first house, which sharpens how you think and how you say things. So, this is a good window for drafting the message, the proposal, or the honest ask you have been shaping. The Sun and Jupiter both sit in Leo in your second house of income and values, supporting a steady, unhurried look at what you earn and what you actually want to keep. In relationships, that sharpened first house voice is where the payoff lands. Say the simple version and let it be enough. You are ruled by the moon, Cancer, and care with deep intuition is your native language, not a soft extra. With the moon in your 8th house, energy may run inward today, so keep the pace gentle and rest earlier than usual. What began yesterday in partnership settles now into your own clear speaking. If you can, feed someone who is hungry today quietly, asking nothing in return. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. Leo, today your own light is the steadiest thing in the room, and it works best when you turn it toward someone else. Yesterday, the moon moved through your house 6, so the day likely felt like maintenance, small tasks, and quiet upkeep rather than applause. Now the moon has crossed into Aquarius in your house 7, your house of partnership, having moved in at 1:45 UTC in work and money that pulls decisions toward the other side of the table. Bring your proposal to one person and let their response shape it, especially around late morning. Mercury, your period lord, sits in Cancer in your house 12, so keep your notes private until the thought is finished. In relationships, Leo, the moon opposes the sun exactly at 10:35 and Jupiter at 10:27. And opposition is simply a mirror. You are ruled by the sun, and warmth and natural leadership are your native language. So let that warmth listen today rather than lead. For energy, the pull between your own sign and your partnership house can feel like being stretched two ways. So eat properly and take one slow walk. The upkeep of yesterday becomes today's shared ground. Somewhere today, feed someone who is hungry, quietly expecting nothing. Go easy on yourself today. The stars are patient and you can be too. Virgo, today favors quiet inward work over outward push, and that suits you perfectly. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 5 and drew you into a more introspective space, so some of that softness is still with you. Now, the moon moves into your house 6 of daily work and routine, which supports steady maintenance rather than grand launches. Clear one backlog item you have been carrying, and let that be enough. Your ruler Mercury sits in Cancer in your house 11 of networks and friendships. So, precision and quiet service, your native language, land best when offered to a group effort or a colleague who needs a careful eye. Virgo, in relationships, the Sun and Jupiter both sit in your 12th house of reflection, which favors honest interior review over confrontation. A gentle, private conversation goes further today than a debate. Venus in your first house asks you to be patient with your own appearance and mood, so keep expectations of yourself soft. For energy, that same sixth house emphasis suggests simple rhythms, regular meals, ordinary rest, nothing extreme. The introspective thread from yesterday completes itself here in useful, small, unglamorous care. If you can, share a meal with someone who's going without one today. Wishing you a calm and steady day ahead. Libra, today invites your focus outward into friendship, creativity, and the pleasure of being seen by people who like you. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 4, so a quieter, more inward mood likely held you close to home and memory. Now the moon moves into your house 5, and your energy wants expression rather than retreat. In work and money, Mercury, your period lord, sits in Cancer in your house 10 of career, which favors a warm, personal conversation about your direction rather than a formal push. Say the honest thing to the person who decides. In relationships, Libra, Saturn and Neptune both sit in your house 7 of partnership, and that asks for patience and plain speech instead of assumption. Venus rules you, and balance and graceful fairness are your native language, so name what you need without softening it into vagueness. For energy, the Sun and Jupiter in your house 11 support company, so let a good conversation restore you rather than solitude. The day that began quietly ends generous if you let it. Somewhere today, offer food or real help to someone who needs it, asking nothing back. A free full chart is waiting for you on the website whenever you want to go deeper. Let today be simple. That is enough. Scorpio, today gives your work a clear stage and you are ready to stand on it. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 3, so your public presence and professional standing likely felt sharply in focus. Now, the sun, in its own sign of Leo, joined by Jupiter, lights your 10th house of career and standing, which favors putting your name to something you have quietly perfected. Mercury, your period lord, sits in Cancer in your 9th house, so the day supports learning, teaching, and long view conversations rather than rushing decisions. In relationships, Scorpio, The moon moved into Aquarius in your fourth house of home and roots at 1:45 UTC, and that turns the evening toward family and familiar rooms. Say the affectionate thing you usually just feel. Mars, your ruler, travels Gemini in your 8th house, and depth with quiet resilience is your native language. So give your energy to one deep thing today instead of many shallow ones. Rest earlier than usual and let your body catch up. So the arc runs from yesterday's visibility to today's steadier, better lit ground beneath it. If you can, share a meal with someone who has less than you today, quietly, expecting nothing at all in return. May something small go beautifully right for you today. Sagittarius, today favors clear speaking. The words you choose carry more weight than usual. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house too, so a stretch of creative momentum and visible attention likely left you a little exposed, a little seen. Now the moon has moved into Aquarius, your house 3 of communication, since early this morning, which means short messages, quick calls, and a nearby conversation move your work along more than grand planning does. With your period Lord Mercury in your house 8, keep money talk simple and ask for the detail behind a number rather than assuming it. Venus sits debilitated in Virgo in your house 10, so let your effort at work be steady rather than showy. Sagittarius, and that quiet care is where the day pays you back. In relationships, Mars in your house 7 of partnership brings heat to the exchange. You are ruled by Jupiter, and optimism and honest seeking are your native language. So say the true thing warmly rather than sharply. For energy, the Sun and Jupiter both in your house 9 of meaning support learning. A short walk and something read for its own sake restores you. The visibility of yesterday settles into useful conversation today. Somewhere nearby, feed someone who is hungry, asking nothing. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Capricorn, today ask you to lift your eyes from your own shoulders and look at what you actually hold. Yesterday the moon sat in your first house and you likely felt steadied inside your own strength and clarity. This morning at 1:45 UTC, the moon moved into Aquarius, your second house of money, belongings and self-worth. So this is a good window for reviewing what you earn, what you keep, and what you no longer need to carry. Make one honest list of income and outgo today. On relationships, Capricorn, your period Lord Mercury sits in Cancer in your 7th house of partnership, which favors talking things through gently rather than deciding alone. Ask the other person what they need before you offer your solution. That conversation is where today's clarity about worth becomes shared. For energy, Mars and Uranus both move through Gemini in your 6th house of daily routine, so your body responds well to a steady rhythm rather than a sudden push. Saturn rules you, and steady effort with long patience is your native language. Use it kindly on yourself today. The arc here is simple. Strength found in yourself yesterday becomes value shared today. Somewhere in your day, feed someone who is hungry, quietly, asking nothing. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Aquarius, today the moon comes home to your own sign and you get to feel like yourself again without effort or explanation. Yesterday the moon opened in your house 12, so a quieter, more inward mood was natural and some of you were simply running on reserve. Now Mercury, your period lord, sits in Cancer in your house 6 of work and daily routine, which favors steady, careful handling of the small tasks rather than grand reinvention. Pick the one item you keep postponing and finish it before midday. Relationships carry real warmth. The Sun in Leo and Jupiter both sit in your house 7 of partnership, and with the Moon opposite Jupiter at 10:27 and opposite the Sun at 10:35, you may feel pulled between your own space and someone else's expectations. Say plainly what you need. Aquarius, you will be met more generously than you expect. Saturn, your ruler, is retrograde in your house 3. So, original thinking and quiet conviction, your native language, work best today at a slower pace. The Moon trine Uranus at 7:29 supports creative energy, so keep the morning light. Somewhere today, help one person with something small and ask nothing in return. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Pisces, today ask you to guard your inner quiet, and that quiet is where your best answers are waiting. Yesterday, the Moon opened in your house 11, so a phase of practical focus and grounded service likely kept you busy with other people's needs. Now the Moon has moved into Aquarius, your 12th house, since 1:45 UTC, which softens your appetite for noise and favors work done behind closed doors. Mercury, your period lord, sits in Cancer in your 5th house, so creative and playful thinking supports you today. Draft, sketch, or plan rather than push for a public decision. Pisces, compassion and imaginative depth are truly your native language, and Jupiter's placement in your 6th house of daily work rewards patient, careful service. Venus sits debilitated in Virgo in your 7th house of partnership, so love asks for plain words instead of grand gestures today. Ask what your partner or close colleague actually needs, then simply do that. With Mars in your 4th house, rest at home is not laziness, it is fuel. Let the 12th house moon finish what yesterday's busy service began in stillness. If you can, quietly feed someone who is hungry today, asking nothing at all in return. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. May this day meet you gently, and may you carry its light with a steady, unhurried heart. Whatever the sky is arranging for your sign, remember that you are always the one choosing how you meet it, with patience, with honesty, with a little kindness for yourself when things move slower than you hoped. Let the good moments be enjoyed fully, let the harder ones pass through without taking root, and let someone near you feel a bit lighter because you were there. Wishing you calm hands, clear thinking, and warmth in the ordinary hours. If today's sky was useful, subscribing keeps it coming every morning.